Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Halftime on the Hudson. I'm Robert D. Felice, joined by Matt Spirio. We're excited to be here with you today, and sadly, it is Matt's and my final episodes being a part of this show, something that we were able to start 4 years ago, which seems like it was yesterday, but we're happy to be here, and we're going to get things underway right off the bat. We're going to jump in with some NBA, and I'm going to kick it over to you, Matt.
Yeah, NBA playing last night. Starting the Western Conference. Lakers, Timberwolves, no Rudy Gobert. Pretty solid game there. Lakers were able to come out on top, and now it's the 7th seed in the West playing against Memphis. Rob, I got a question for you. I'm curious. I think a lot of people here are expecting Lakers to make some noise. What do you think their chances are playing against Memphis?
I'm not high on the Lakers at all, to be honest with you. I haven't been. Everyone kept saying the new look Lakers coming out of the All-Star break and how well they were doing. In my opinion, the reason they were doing so well was because LeBron didn't play most of it. I think they were able to find some chemistry as a team and kind of click more now that Big Daddy LeBron was kind of out of the picture for a little while. And so now LeBron's back. Now he's back to calling the shots. He did play decently well last night, was a little unselfish, which was a little rare to see and such. But overall, I don't expect much from the Lakers. I don't really expect much out of any team coming out of the play-in, really, but I've just never really been high on the Lakers.
Is this you saying the Lakers might be better without Big Daddy LeBron?
I absolutely would say that the Lakers are better without LeBron James. I think it's the stuff off the court for me that's the problem. Like, he can still play at a elite caliber as a player, but it's everything else around him that's the problem.
That's fair. Maybe taking some possessions off on defense. We'll move over now to the Eastern Conference. Your Miami Heat didn't fare so well against the Atlanta Hawks. Tell me what happened there.
No, it was just a gross game of basketball overall. The Heat were chucking up shots like nobody's business. Like, that didn't matter. They weren't slowing things down on offense, trying to set up shots. They're just taking fast breaks down, throwing the ball up, seeing what happens, and it wasn't good. Turning over the ball like crazy. I think there was a series where they turned the ball over 3 straight possessions. Like, you just can't do that. And Trae Young came out hungry. Like, he was shooting them well. He was doing great on defense. Like, he just came out like he was fighting for his life, and he looked good. The only upside for the Heat, it was like they showed some signs of life on offense. And I mean, I love the Heat, don't get me wrong, but I think that the trade deadline, Pat Riley was a little quiet, which I didn't like too much. They traded away Dwayne Dedmon, and I loved Dwayne Dedmon. I thought he was a perfect complement to Bam, that when Bam's off the court, you have him in. He's not quite the defensive caliber of Bam, but he can keep up for the most part with the offensive possessions that Bam would put up when he was there. Dwayne Dedmon's gone, and what do we get in return? Kevin Love. And so, Kevin Love's old. He's a shell of what he used to be. And so, you lose a big piece in that. And Dwayne Dedmon was kind of an unsung hero of that team. So, unfortunate to see that. I thought out of Milwaukee or Boston, Miami had a much better chance of beating Boston than they did Milwaukee. So I was really hoping to see them get into that 7th seed so they could take on Boston, get that rematch from the Eastern Conference Finals from last year, and see what they could do. But against Milwaukee, if they're able to get that 8th seed, hopes aren't exactly that high. What about you? What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I think, people, especially talking in the West, you don't want to see LeBron as the 7th seed. LeBron in the playoffs is dangerous. I don't want to see Trae Young this time of year. I think Knicks fans know that pretty well. This is a guy who, when it comes to the postseason, certainly not someone that you want to see. I'm getting chirped in the back from the Knicks fans now. Obviously playing against Boston is tough. Last year's Eastern Conference champions, but don't be surprised if the Hawks win a couple games here. Don't be surprised if this goes, 5, 6, 7 games. We'll see. I'm certainly not sleeping on the Hawks the way I think a lot of people are against Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. One other quick question for you. Of now the 2 losers of those games, the Timberwolves or Miami, which one do you think has a better chance of getting that 8th seed and then perhaps even making a run?
Yeah, I think that the Heat's playoff experience is just going to be too strong. I don't think they're going to lose 2 games in a row. I think that if Jimmy has to will them to a game, I think that Jimmy's going to will them a game. So we'll see. But as one season, kind of heads into the playoffs, we kick things off. The MLB. The MLB is back here. A lot of the fun stuff going on. What's been your favorite thing you've seen so far, Rob?
I mean, I have loved the play of Garrett Cole so far this season. It's been electrifying to see him. He is a true ace. He continues to get better and better. He's won 3 games. He's faced something like 68 batters and only given up no more than 15 hits. So for an ace like that for the Yankees, that's electric. That's great that you want to see. And the Yankees had a lot of questions about their bullpen beyond Nestor Cortez, beyond Garrett Cole, and what they can do. And overall, the Yankees, they haven't dropped a series yet. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Yankees. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Garrett Cole. Today's game was a little rocky, a little controversy in the first inning and all that. But overall, I'm really, really liking what I see from the Yankees bullpen that was highly criticized. And they're not fully healthy yet. So once they get healthy and all that. But, I mean, Tampa.
I was just about to say the Yankees are great. They're in second place. Tampa. What are they, 11-0, 12-0? What are they? I think they're 11-0 now.
As of right now, I don't know what the score is.
The game's almost ending here. They've been the story of baseball. I mean, this is the 7th team that started 10-0 in history, in MLB history. Now, I think they're the 4th team that's 11-0. If they win today, I think they'll be like one of 3 teams that's 12-0. They just continue to win. They continue to look really good. It's really interesting because it's just a team that is not built around star players. They're a pure system, a better version of Moneyball. I know we all love to romanticize Moneyball. The Rays really are a better version of it. McClanahan, Spriggs, these guys who they just bring in that all of a sudden become top-tier pitchers. And it's honestly fascinating to watch. I'm curious how far it will go. I don't know when they're going to lose. I'm sure it will happen at one point. But it's very interesting because it's just that little thorn in the side of a great start to the Yankee season. It's like the Yankees look so great, but all of a sudden now you're still 4 games back to first.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, even today's game, which I did just get word from the back, by the way, that Tampa is now 12-0.
Of course.
They were able to close things out against the Sox. I watched the start of that game today. And one thing that's also very underrated about this Tampa team is the way they swing the bat. First inning today against Chris Sale, an experienced ace for the Red Sox, they hit a 3-run homer in the first inning. Like, they're swinging the bat so well. They are putting up numbers. They are playing with confidence, and it is absolutely electric to see from Tampa.
They're getting after teams early. Doesn't look like they're going to lose anytime soon. So keep betting on the Rays if you get the chance. We'll close things out. Our final topic here, the NFL Draft. We have our NFL Draft show coming up in 2 weeks here, our big production of the spring.
Tune in.
Yeah, so we're gonna preview that a little bit here. Some quarterback controversy at the top. It's looked like C.J. Stroud for the last couple weeks since Carolina traded up was going to be the first overall pick. Those numbers have kind of dropped a little bit. It looks like Bryce Young is right in the thick of the race here. I think that Carolina maybe it was some kind of attempt at smokescreen to force a second trade. Which of the two, or if you have a third quarterback that you prefer, do you think should go first overall? Not that you think will go first overall.
I think should go first overall. I think C.J. Stroud has slightly better talent than Bryce Young. And I can't help but feel that part of what was going on with the where he was going back and forth, some of it was some off-field stuff. I mean, at his pro day, he said some questionable things about who his inspirations were and things like that. And, at a time with all of the media and everything like that, every single thing that you say is scrutinized. And so I think he's been a little bit careless in when he has been facing the media, and some teams might get skittish with that. And if you look at Stroud versus Bryce Young, who comes from Alabama, who they are, stricken with the fear of God to, they get their media training and know what to say and when to say it. So for a team that maybe you're trying to avoid some conflict and they're pretty neck and neck in talent, then you might lean towards Bryce Young. But I think just barely Stroud edges Bryce Young out in the talent department.
Interesting. I think I subscribe to just a slightly different philosophy. When I've just watched the two play in terms of a pure eye test, there's just something about Bryce Young's poise, his ability to win close games. The way that he just has such good feel in the pocket, it reminds me of a lot of the top quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow have just such incredible feel. It's something that you can't teach, something you can instill. You're not going to see it anywhere at the combine. You're not going to see that in an interview. It's something that it's purely from a gamer standpoint. He's just someone who balls when it matters most. And the thing with Stroud is, yes, he had the great game against Georgia, which his thing is really what's kept his draft stock afloat for months now. The thing is that one really good game against Georgia. I worry about him going to a team like Carolina, whose number one receiver right now is Terrace Marshall. There's no one there to throw to. I don't know how Stroud exactly just fits right into that. And that's kind of where I get worried. So, I don't know. We're going to see what happens. We're going to preview that on our draft show. Are there any other quarterbacks that you think maybe if your Stroud's your number one, is there anyone ahead of Bryce Young, or is Bryce Young your two? And if he is your two, who's your number three?
I think my number 3 is Anthony Richardson. I think he's up there as well. He's got a lot of talent. He has the ability to be a day one starter, which a lot of guys in this draft are talented, are good, but I think they need some development. Even if you look at like a Stroud, or if you look at a Bryce Young, their final year, especially Bryce Young, the age-old saying they don't have competition in college. They're not playing very tough games. Their schedule's easy as can be. And this year, in those tough games, Alabama didn't play well. They didn't make the college football playoff for the first time in God knows how long. Like, they did not play well. So I think Bryce Young needs a system that he can get in, have some time to develop. I think Anthony Richardson is a day one starter. What do you think?
Interesting. I don't know if I classify Anthony Richardson as a day one starter, but I kind of do have him up on my board. I'm a little higher on Bryce Young. I think Anthony Richardson, I might take him over C.J. Stroud. I don't know. I think Richardson's got a chance to be really, really talented if he falls into the right spot. And we will kind of see what happens as we head toward our draft show.
Yeah.
Does that mean are you going to be drafting C.J. Stroud? Are you looking to do that?
I might be. I don't know. We'll see.
I got my eyes on Anthony Richardson.
But
so,
one other thought for you real quick. If you are an NFL franchise right now that is in need of a quarterback, which plenty of them are you looking at the draft, or are you looking at someone like Lamar Jackson, who is a proven talent, who obviously has expressed he wants out of Baltimore? And if you are looking at Lamar, are you willing to pay that price tag for him?
I think it really depends on every team's specific situation. I look at a team like Tennessee, who people have linked to a quarterback, and I just think there's so many other holes to fill. A team like Atlanta, who they've kind of stayed out of things, said Ritter's going to be their starter, which, yeah, I'd say laughing at that, I think, is the appropriate response. I think it really depends on the team situation. I typically prefer, especially as a Broncos fan, I've seen what can happen when you get a little hasty and looking for a veteran quarterback. Take a back seat a little bit, address the other holes on the team. If a quarterback falls to you, you get the chance to jump on somebody, go for it. But I don't think you should overextend yourself if you're not in a position to immediately win a Super Bowl. I think that's my stance on it.
I can get behind that too. And I mean, the one argument I can see for going after someone like Lamar is if you are a team like Houston, Davis Mills is not the future. That's case in point. Like there's no secret behind that. So if you can go after someone like Lamar, probably going to pay a pretty penny for him, but then you can use the rest of your draft stock on plugging the rest of those holes. So if you can address quarterback out of the draft, you use everything else that you have, but at the same time, how much of that draft stock are you giving up to get Lamar?
Precisely.
So it's a give and take.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly where a lot of those kind of discrepancies occur. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for the draft. I'm excited for our draft show. But that's all we got for you guys today. We can kick it over to Rob, who's hosting Prove Your Point, his final episode. We'll be back, though, for our little closing segment here as we say goodbye to MCTV. But don't go anywhere, guys.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Prove Your Point. We got two special guests here, two veterans of Prove Your Point. Both have taken some victories. Both have taken some L's. Only one man can come out on top today, and we'll see how it will go. First, we got Jacob Framian, returning veteran, senior. Next, we got Zach Musso, technically a senior, also returning veteran. Last time on Prove Your Point. Got to go out with a bang. Jacob, how are we feeling today?
Feeling great, Rob. Looking forward to beating Musso. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Talking some big game early. What do you got to say in response to that?
I mean, that is just the worst trash talk I've ever heard. Jacob's probably the easiest competition I've had on Prove Your Point in my 3 years at Marist, and it'd be nice to stomp on another person's face on my way out.
That's tough talk from a guy in a salmon suit, but I'll take it.
All right, things are getting a little heated already. So let's get into our first topic, and that is, who is the NBA playoff sleeper? Jacob, we start with you.
Thank you, Rob. All right. Look, sleepers are teams, obviously, we know what a sleeper is under the radar. My team is the Miami Heat, and I know what you're thinking. The Heat lost last night to the Hawks. I don't care. The Miami Heat have playoff pedigree. They have playoff experience. Eric Spoelstra has been through this so many times. Jimmy Butler is a guy that you know can live up in the big moments. So does Bam Adebayo. They have, again, championship pedigree. I think that, let's say they beat Chicago, which they will. I think that they can really give Milwaukee a tough series, and I think that they could shock them and beat them. I know you may be thinking, oh, the Bucks, they have Giannis, they have Middleton, they have all these guys. I don't care. The Heat are a team that you don't sleep on, because when you sleep on them, they end up surprising you and shocking the world. And I think that just because that they weren't great this year on offense, they were terrific on defense. They will lock you down defensively, and defense wins championships. And I think that the Heat can make some serious noise in the playoffs.
All right. I mean, I will say, if you told me 7 years ago, that the Miami Heat were going to have Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, Jimmy Butler all on the same team, I'd be pretty excited. But That was 6-7 years ago. So it's been a little while. A lot of them are getting a little older. But, Zach, over to you. Who is your sleeper pick?
Well, it certainly is not the Miami Heat. That's just laughable. I don't even need to go into that right now. That's an easy first-round sweep by the Bucks. If they even beat the Bulls, Jacob's sleeper team might not even get to the playoffs. My sleeper team, the New York Knicks. Why? Favorable matchup in the first round with Cleveland. Jacob's favorite player is R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle. A dynamic duo, add in Jalen Brunson, a trio that is all averaging over 19.5 points per game. I got that from my noggin. I don't need a note sheet like little Jacob. Those three, 19.5 points per game. There's three teams in the NBA who have that kind of combination. That is a dynamic combo. Mitchell Robinson, great rim defender. Isaiah Hartenstein, backup center off the bench. What does he do? Best offensive rating on the Knicks. Obi Toppin, 25 points per game when Julius Randle's been out this season. Emmanuel Quickley, the likely sixth man of the year. They have all the needed recipes, and you can't forget about Josh Hart. The Knicks have been awesome since Josh Hart came over. He turned them around. They get the Cavs in the first round. Very favorable matchup. The Knicks won the season series against Cleveland, and they just beat Cleveland 2 weeks ago by 15 points with Julius Randle not even playing. Brunson dropped 48. There's your sleeper, not the laughable Heat.
All right. I mean, disrespecting my Heat a little bit. It's not going to win you too many brownie points, but you speak facts, spitting facts. I am going to allow a rebuttal from Jacob.
Yeah, rebut your Knicks, baby.
All right, I mean, call me a baby. That's cute. But anyway, as far as the Knicks, I think what Zach's forgetting is how good of a team the Cleveland Cavaliers are. I mean, who's going to stop Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks? Please, I would love.
Are the
to know
Miami Heat
answer.
going to make the playoffs?
That's not the point.
Are the Miami Heat going to make the playoffs?
Yes.
We're forgetting how good the Milwaukee Bucks are. I don't care about Giannis. You should care about Giannis. They swept the Heat 2 years ago.
You just talked about how they have favorable matchups. You didn't say one thing about like what Cleveland does or how good they've been. You didn't mention how Donovan Mitchell has been on a tear this year. Who's going to stop Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks?
They're all going to stop Donovan Mitchell. It's a collective effort. The Knicks are a true team.
I just don't see it. I don't think that. Again, Donovan Mitchell's great. Darius Garland's great.
Who has a better chance of getting further in the playoffs, the Knicks or the Heat? Are the Heat going to make the playoffs? Jimmy Butler talked all about how I don't want to disrespect Rob's team too much.
Again, look, trusting the Knicks in the playoffs is tough talk considering that, they've made the playoffs twice in the last 10 years. They've made
Jimmy Butler said he was going to show up and show out. You know what he did? He got almost sent home yesterday. Trae Young with his lollipop hair, he sucks. He sucks, but not last night. He dominated Jimmy Butler. The Heat may not even make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, it's an easy sweep. Sorry, Rob. He knows. He's upset about last night's performance. The Knicks have all the makings. 3 elite scorers. Yes, R.J. Barrett. 3 elite scorers. Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley. This is a slam dunk. It's not even a debate.
I don't know how you could say R.J. Barrett and elite scorer in the same sentence. That's just absurd talk. The guy is barely shooting 30% from 3. He doesn't
19.5 points per game.
Yeah, 19.5. That's fine.
19
what's so
and a half.
special?
They beat Cleveland 2 weeks ago by 15 without Julius Randle, who's going to be an all-NBA player this season. Bob, why don't you just take over?
And that's all the time we have.
I don't even want to
for the
look
first
at this
topic.
kid.
Both guys, speaking some facts. Both guys speaking some fallacies. Some disrespect to my team or to your own team. But overall, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this one to Zach.
That's right.
All right.
Would you like to say it again?
That's right. You lose.
The score is 1-0. All right.
I'm taller than you.
You
Next
small,
topic.
bro.
Next topic.
You're shorter than me, but okay.
Who will win the AL East? Zach, we start this one off with you.
The team that has not lost a game yet this season, the Tampa Bay Rays, will win the AL East. You know why? Dynamic lineup. They use analytics better than any team. Wander Franco is a breakout star. If the Tampa Bay Rays pay someone close to $200 million, it means they're going to be a really good player. That rotation is the best in baseball. When Tyler Glasnow comes back healthy. Tyler Glasnow, Zach Eflin, just one on the injured list, just going to be a brief 10-day stint. His curveball, the spin has tripled since his time in Philadelphia. They have a pitching laugh down there. Drew Rasmussen, Jeffrey Springs, and I didn't even mention Shane McClanahan. That's his 5 above-average starters. 3 of them can be all-stars. That is elite. Shane Baz, another one down there. Great bullpen. Yandy Diaz walks more than he strikes out. You know how hard that is to do? Deep lineup. And Randy Arozarena, He's just a clutch time performer. Put the cowboy hat on Randy. He'll take it. Jacob's going to argue about the Yankees, so let's just hear Jacob's argument about his team. I know.
Hey, let me do my job.
Nah, let's just
I'll
go.
throw the point over to Jacob. Let me do my job. You do yours. I do mine.
I'll let him have, my job's winning.
We'll see about that. The next point goes over to Jacob. What do you have to say?
I mean, yeah, he made a lot of good points. I'll give him that. But again, can we talk about who the Rays have played? They played the A's, garbage team. Nationals, garbage team. Tigers, garbage team. Combined, they have what, like 6 wins?
Red Sox, garbage team.
Just keep talking. I'm here, bro.
I don't know what the heck he's doing. I apologize. But
You
anyway,
continue, Jacob.
again, I understand that the Rays are 11-0. But again, the Yankees have Garrett Cole, they have Nestor Cortez, and soon they're going to have Luis Severino and Carlos Rodon. He keeps talking about the Rays rotation. The Yankee rotation, fully healthy, is going to be better than the Rays rotation. You heard it here first. They have at least 4 all-star level players in Gleyber Torres, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, and Anthony Rizzo. The Rays do not. I'm sorry. They have a lot of good, decent players, but you know that they're going to cool off at some point. You just know that they are. And you know they haven't had any injuries yet. That's going to happen because that's how baseball works. People get hurt. And I just don't think that the Rays are a team that when they have to actually play good teams, which they have not done yet, again, wake me up when the Rays play a good team. I'm sorry. I just don't want to hear it. I can't take stock in a team that's playing against teams that are trying to lose and are barely better than a AAA roster. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know how you can sell me on this bill of goods on the Rays. I mean, we've seen them do this stuff before. I mean, it amounts to nothing all the time. And I really believe in the Yankees this time. And look, Aaron Boone's not the best manager, but this team is on another level. Garrett Cole, short hair Garrett Cole, is all business, and he's been insanely good this year. Seems like he wants that Cy Young award for the first time in a while. And again, I mean, the Rays are the Rays. I mean, 11-0, that's cute. I mean, who cares? The Yankees got off to a great start last year. What did that mean? Nothing. I think, just because it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
All right. Zach, your rebuttal.
Okay, I'll just give Jacob some credit. I stole the note sheet there. He memorized it. He doesn't need that note sheet. That's the one praise I'll ever give Jacob. Let's get back to this argument. This is some laughable crap coming out of Jacob's mouth, just spewing diarrhea out his mouth right now. The Yankees, he believes in the Yankees. Are you kidding me? Aaron Hicks, IKF, Josh Donaldson, still in that lineup. What are we even talking about? Better rotation? Luis Severino, always hurt. Domingo Germán is in the Yankees rotation for the entire year. I mean, we don't even have to talk about the fact he's a wife beater. Like, he's just a horrible human, and he's a terrible pitcher. That's just Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, who knows if he'll ever play. He's just going to be injured on the Yankees injured list all year. The Rays starting rotation is by far better than the Yankees. And what have the Rays done? They've made a World Series in the last 3 years. What have the Yankees done? They haven't done that since 2009. So what has the Rays done? They do the same thing every year. They do the same thing the Yankees do, losing the playoffs. I'll take the Rays, who have the deeper pitching staff, the better lineup, the better manager. Jacob, some laughable garbage.
Better lineup. Better lineup?
Better lineup.
Really?
Better lineup. You have so
How?
much dead weight in your lineup.
A lot of guys you mentioned haven't even been starting. Hicks has barely been playing. IKF has barely been playing. Josh Johnson's been hurt. He's missed the
You want
last
to talk about
handful of
dead
games.
weight? Anthony Volpe, 3 for 40.
Well, how about we talk about Franchi Cordero, who's this year's Matt Carpenter,
Franchi
who's on
Cordero,
a
absolute
tear.
fraud. You know what Matt Carpenter in the playoffs? 0 for 10 with 10 strikeouts. Is
Guy
that
was
what you
hurt.
want? That's what you're going to see again this year by Frankie Cordero.
I completely disagree.
3
If
for
he's
40
healthy,
overrated Anthony Volpe. Next, Derek Jeter. Yeah.
I
Sure.
never said that. You never heard that from me. I never said
Sure.
that. Just because everyone else believed it
You're
doesn't
the
mean I
one.
did.
You yourself gave the Yankees a B- offseason.
No.
If you're giving
I
the
gave
Yankees-
them a C+
Oh,
offseason.
wow, my bad. You gave them an even worse grade. C+ off seasons do not win divisions. You yourself said it's not going to happen.
So what was the Rays offseason?
Zach Eflin, they didn't need an offseason. Zach Eflin's the only move
They
they
didn't
made.
need an offseason?
They didn't
What are
need
you
an
talking
offseason
about? They
because
didn't-
they already have a loaded roster.
If
they
they had
didn't
a
need
load-
to do anything.
If they had a loaded roster, then why weren't they good last year?
They were good. They made the playoffs. What the Yankees do? Make the playoffs and
They
lose.
scored one run in 20 innings?
That
15
happens.
innings?
It's baseball.
Oh, that happens. Well,
It's
that's the big.
baseball.
Well, how come the team can't
Don't
perform when they
trust
need it to?
Kermit Fraud Cole. Who have they played? The Phillies, the Guardians, really not impressed.
Better teams than
The
the Rays.
Giants, really not impressed.
But they're better than the Rays, and that's
Really
not
not
disputable.
impressed.
You know I'm right about that.
I don't care who the better teams are.
The Nationals,
It's baseball.
the
You play
Tigers,
everyone. The Yankees have 5 losses.
And the A's are all going to be in the top 5 of the draft.
Who cares?
because
No,
they're going to be the
draft
worst
actually
teams.
has a lottery this season. They can't all be in the top 5 because they were in the top 5 last year. Get your facts right, Jacob.
Well, regardless of that, they're 3 of the 5
Well,
worst
now that
teams
we
in
know
baseball.
you're fake news, why do we have to believe anything you're saying? We just proved that you speak lies. It's fake news, Jacob. Liar.
I slipped up.
He slipped up. You heard it, folks.
I can admit it.
Let's
I'm
take
man
this
enough to
ball.
admit
And
it.
that's the end of
Little girl
that,
over there.
That topic.
I don't know
Side
why you
note,
got to be sexist,
well,
Jacob.
While y'all were acting like petulant children, I was scrolling Twitter, and for some reason, the Pittsburgh Penguins actually tweeted, and with that, our 16-season playoff streak comes to an end.
Who cares?
Why would they actually tweet that, though?
Because they're
Who cares
sad.
about what the two of you are fighting
Who
over?
cares? I mean, why you're the one judging. I think you care.
A little bit, but here's what it comes down to. The Yankees know how to win in clutch time.
They don't. We've proven that. 14 years in
The
a row,
Yankees'
it's not
biggest
happening.
question-
They do not know how to win in
And
clutch time.
you're not debating me here.
I
Zach.
am now.
You're not debating me here. The Yankees' biggest question was their depth and their ability to fill holes with people like IKF and Cabrera. What were they going to be able to do for this team coming off of the bench? LeMahieu wasn't in the lineup today. IKF and Cabrera were both in the lineup today, and they still were able to get the job done, come back from a 3-0 start against the Guardians, a team they barely beat in the playoffs, and the Yankees have still yet to drop a series, and they've had a little bit tougher competition. So I am going to have to give this point to Jacob.
Bias, just straight bias.
We are tied up at 1-1.
If it was biased, then he would have gave me the first one solely off the fact that I picked his team.
I didn't say the first one was biased. I said the second one was biased.
I'm going to go back to Twitter. Our final point, it's all or nothing here, gentlemen. Your final appearances on Prove Your Point ever
Okay.
rest upon how you perform in this here question. The topic is, what NFL team is facing the most pressure coming into this draft? Jacob, we will start with you.
The team that I believe falls in that category is none other than the Detroit Lions. Now, you may be thinking, the Lions, how could they have pressure? They had a really good season last year, but they didn't make the playoffs, and they've had a very active offseason. They've really addressed their secondary, Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They've really bolstered that unit, which was a deficiency last year, and they have a loaded offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They signed David Montgomery from the Bears. They already have DeAndre Swift. Jared Goff is a pretty solid young quarterback. They have a great offensive line. But to me, the fact that they have 5 picks inside the top 100 is a very big deal, because if I'm a Lions fan, I'm thinking we have to make the playoffs this year. This is a very important year. This is year 3 of the Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes regime. And if I'm the Lions, I see Green Bay, no more Aaron Rodgers. There's a whole opening. The Bears stink. The Vikings are, they were 13-4, but I mean, they barely won every game. So how legit could they have been? I mean, they lost to the Giants, for Christ's sake. So with that being said, I think that the Lions are a team that really needs to have a good draft, and I think that they will, because Brad Holmes has been a good talent evaluator. We've seen.
Are
that
you
with,
done? Are you
No,
done?
you know what? I'm not done. I'm almost done, but I'm not done. So you're just gonna have to wait and be quiet.
It's some of our bedtimes.
But I thought I was a little
Speak!
boy.
Speak!
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by this guy over here. Brad Holmes is a very good GM, and I think that he will have a good draft. He's had good drafts, and he'll continue that in his 3rd year on the job. You can wake up from your slumber now.
Fell asleep. It's just so freaking boring, bro. It's just like,
And Zach, it is your turn.
Yeah, the team under the most pressure is the Philadelphia Eagles. The Lions, I don't even really understand, because after they went out and addressed their only hole in free agency, they don't have any holes in the team. There's very little pressure to hit all these picks. They're all luxury picks. The Eagles lost 5 defensive starters this year, a team that won the Super Bowl. Or, they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl. Jacob's disrespect to the Giants will let slide, because we don't have time for that. That's just ridiculous. I don't know why he hates his own teams.
I love my own team, but I have to be
Can you let me
honest.
speak, please? Thank you.
Well, you didn't let me speak,
I don't
so
care.
I'm just returning the favor.
Jacob's just
Don't be a hypocrite.
Can you let me speak? The Eagles are under pressure. They lost 5 defensive starters, their offensive coordinator, and their defensive coordinator. And they have to pay Jalen Hurts now. Jalen Hurts is going to be making $50 million a year. He's making $5 million a year. That means they need young, cheap guys who are making big-time impacts. They lost a ton. They have a star quarterback. The pressure is on them to win the Super Bowl now. The Super Bowl. They have so much more pressure. They need to hit these picks, because these guys are going to be actual starters next year, not just luxury picks.
But you said they won the Super Bowl. Isn't that what you said? You said they won the Super Bowl.
Clearly heard that I didn't mean to say that.
Well, but when I made the same kind of mistake, you were all over me.
Well, I made a mistake, Jacob. I made a mistake.
So
Our
you are
mistakes,
human.
our
You are
mistakes
human.
were very different. You spoke
How are they
blatant
different?
fake news, and I had to correct you.
Wrong.
You didn't know you spoke fake news. I
Wrong.
corrected myself. I corrected myself because it was a slip-up. You spoke blatant fake news, and I had to correct you.
Yours
'cause
is worse. Yours is
you were
obvious.
trying to
Gentlemen,
decept the
can we
audience.
get back to the topic?
Yeah, what do you
please?
have to say, Jacob? I mean, I put you in a corner, so you're deflecting now.
I'm not deflecting nothing.
He has nothing to say.
Can we get back to the
He has
topic,
nothing
or
to
you
say.
both lose?
He has nothing to say. What do you have to say? I just debated. I gave you all my reasons. You have something to rebut? You don't have something to rebut.
How can the Eagles be under so much pressure if they were already got to the Super Bowl? Yes, they didn't win it, but they showed that they're the cream of the crop in the NFC.
They lost 5 defensive starters from an elite defense.
They already had a ton of depth.
They lost depth too. They lost a lot of guys from this defense. The depth's gone. Starters are gone. Mid-tier players like Kazir White are gone.
Yeah, but if they're mid-tier players, then who cares?
They're starters and mid-tier players. The Lions are stocked now. The Eagles are not stocked. They lost their guys. That's why they need to draft to replace the guys they
Yeah,
lost.
but the
'cause
Eagles
you
have already
can't
gotten on
pay
top of the
anyone.
mountain. The Lions haven't. There's
All right,
more pressure for them to
you're
get
a New York
get over the
You're a
hump.
New York Yankees fans, right?
Yeah.
They haven't won a World Series in 14 years.
Thanks, Captain
They've
Obvious.
been right on the cusp. There's no pressure? Are you serious? So there's no pressure for the Yankees to win the World Series because they've made the playoff. They've been close. You
I didn't
make
say
it
there
right
was
next
no
to the
pressure.
Super Bowl. There's a ton of freaking pressure. There's no pressure for the Lions. They're the Detroit Lions, for Christ's sake. There's no pressure on that organization at all. They don't play in
there's pressure.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia fans throw batteries at Santa. You think they won't throw
Yeah, they're
batteries at
animals.
Jalen Hurt?
They will. They're animals. I agree with
So
you.
there's
but
pressure. If you agree, he agrees with me.
I
He
agree
agrees
with
me.
one aspect
Come on.
of what he said. Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Just because he wants to give you all this fancy talk, all this
Fancy talk. Facts are fancy. Like, just boring facts. I didn't even understand. It's just bodied you in a corner, and now you're just spewing garbage. Jacob just verbal diarrheas his way all over this place.
You used someone already. Get some new material.
I don't need to.
I would like to thank our producers for putting together such an electric matchup for tonight's show. And that is all of the time that we have for this topic. While I don't want to give either one of you the point, as we rarely actually debated the topic at hand and more so argued with each other, and very little facts were actually stated by either side of the very minuscule information given by both of you, I will have to side with sucks having to wait, right?
Nah,
You just sit during some nonsense.
it's not
Kind of
great.
sucks.
It's
Right?
not great. It's a job.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to give this victory to Zach Musso.
Loser. Loser. You know, Jacob's a great friend. It was a blast debating him. I told you it wasn't going to be a competition. It was going to be a clean sweep, but you want to know a little secret about Prove Your Point? We make it go 3 rounds on purpose so that it can be a debate. We make it go 3 rounds on purpose so that it can be a little bit of a debate. So I just want everyone to know that little secret. I won anyway. I didn't need notes. Jacob had notes. I will forever be a winner since this was my last show. I will forever be a winner. Jacob will forever be a loser. And I think we can wrap the show up. Producers, hit the light. Can I have some strobe lighting, please? Can I have some strobe lighting, please?
I think
Can we
in this
go and
situation,
can we hit
all lose.
Can we hit the thing? Jacob's not getting the last word. Losers don't get to speak.
Derek,
Hit
mute the
things.
microphones, please.
There is a W.
Except mine.
W. End it. Quick, Marley. Quick. Marley, stop recording. We're done. We're done. Marley, don't listen to him, please.
What's up, guys? We're here kind of just with our little closeout segment. It's the last episode of Halftime on the Hudson for me and Rob. 4 years, countless episodes. We kind of saw this thing come from just a little production to a whole room of people, a family here that we have. I know a lot of people are probably wondering why I have this Peyton Manning jersey on. I wore this the first ever time I was on MCTV. Supposed to be a cameraman. They needed someone to jump on air. I was wearing this because I wasn't expecting to be on TV. I thought I'd break it out one last time tonight. Kind of a full circle moment here. It's really been a pleasure to be to MCTV, Rob. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I came into Marist College as a political science major. And I knew after taking one political science, political theory course that it wasn't for me, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I came to the first sports shoot because I had always been a sports fan, and it was something I was interested in. And from that moment on, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And because of this place, I was able to find my passion and figure out what I loved and what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so I owe all of that to MCTV and to all of the great people that I've had the fortune of working with throughout the years. It's been an incredible experience. I'm forever grateful for this place. This we often make jokes of it and everything like that, but it's something that really brought us all together, and it was really the catalyst to create so much greatness that is to come after we're gone, with all of the broadcasting work and all of that's going to come together. And that is credit to people like Matt, people like Zach, who put in countless hours to make all of this happen, people like Connor from last year who put a lot of passion into this. And so to be able to be surrounded by such incredible people for 4 years, doing something that we love, something that to many other people would just be a joke, it has meant the world to all of us. And I couldn't be more proud of the people that are going to be taking it over next year. People like Jimmy, who has already jumped in, taken action, and has been incredible thus far. I know that the show is incredible hands next year. Yes, even Derek. Derek's gonna be a shining star eventually, and so again, with those younger guys, Dorito as well, Gene coming in, like all of these young guys coming in to take over. I know it's gonna be in good hands. As much as I hate to pass it off and sad to see it go, but I know it'll be forever lived on, and so proud to be a part of this when I was.
Yeah, I feel like I really kind of just grew up a little bit here in the studio, made a lot of memories here, and it's sad to see it go, but I know that this next generation is going to, continue on the legacy that me and Rob and a handful of others here kind of started. So it is a happy goodbye, but it is unfortunate here.
We have some other seniors that have contributed so much to the show that they might not be on camera as much as we were, but all the work that they put in on behind the scenes. We got Ricardo, Brian, Jacob, Zach, Johnny Canane back there, Commissioner Canane.
Nick, who's not here.
Nick Vete, who's not here. All these guys that also put in a ton of work in this just incredible group of people. So, thank you to everyone who's watched us through the years. You've kind of seen us grow up the last 4 years, and as we experienced all this. So thank you to our parents who tuned into our show and everything. But it has meant a lot, and so I think for the last time, this is all we got for you here on Halftime on the Hudson.
Thank you, guys. MCTV, we love you.